Impact.
New talents, experts, and professionals in different fields.
Different topics that contribute knowledge to society.
And what's going on here in the Sultan.
It's Impact. Hosted by Dr Al Barwani.
Tuesdays at 5 p.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m.
Every week on the Nation Station.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Impact, a weekly edutainment and knowledge sharing program aired live specifically to share with you topics that contribute knowledge to the society. Every week, Impact hosts and invites guests that are experts, professionals, and leaders from the field that brings wealth of knowledge to you. Impact also highlights and promotes talent in the country that contribute knowledge and success to the nation. This program, ladies and gentlemen, is a weekly session that I will have with you every Sunday at 9 a.m. and Tuesday at 5 p.m. I'm your host, Dr Al Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Safiya, for an hour bringing you knowledge at your doorsteps on Oman Radio FM 90.4. Okay, stay tuned after this music break for today's Impact topic and today's very interesting personality.
Impact.
New talents, experts, and professionals in different fields.
Different topics that contribute knowledge to society.
And what's going on here in the Sultan.
It's Impact. Hosted by Dr Al Barwani.
Tuesdays at 5 p.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m.
Every week on the Nation Station.
Welcome back to Impact, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dr Al Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Safiya, with you here today live on Oman Radio FM 90.4. From a local Omani trading company to a conglomerate multinational corporation, the MB Holding Group of Companies. Established in 1982 as MB Trading and grew to a holding multinational company with operation and subsidiaries spread across the globe in the Middle East, Europe, North Africa, Asia, Asia Pacific, and New Zealand. From drilling and oil field services, exploitation and production of oil and gas, marine and engineering services, mining and investment, to owning Muster, a real estate developer with stakes in several hotels in Oman. And Dutch luxury yacht manufacturer Oshinko, which builds custom yachts up to 300 feet long. With operation in over 20 countries, employing over 5,000 people from 51 nationalities under the global brand. How did this all happen? What does it take to create a winning and successful company? What can we learn? But first, who is behind this great success? Dr Mohammed Al Barwani, the founder, owner, and chairman of MB Holding. Dr. Barwani holds a bachelor degree in science from Miami University, USA, and awarded a master's degree and PhD in petroleum engineering from Heriot-Watt University from United Kingdom. MB Holding is the parent company of a number of companies with wide-ranging interests in oil field services, oil and gas exploration and production, mining, marine and engineering services as well, MashaAllah. MB Holding also has investment in financial services and hotels and resort development. The MB Group has operation in more than 20 countries and again employs more than 5,000 employees, MashaAllah. Dr. Barwani is a non-executive director of a number of publicly traded and joint stock companies: Oman Air, Al Madina Insurance Company SAOG, Al Madina Investment SOG, Nautilus Minerals, MashaAllah. He is the Honorary Consul of the Republic of Poland to the Sultanate of Oman. He is also a member of Seakeepers International, a group dedicated to the protection of ocean ecosystem and its environment. Dr. Al Barwani was felicitated with a Lifetime Achievement Award by the Iqtisad Wal-Alam magazine in 2008 and selected by the Ernst & Young as the Global Entrepreneur representing Oman, MashaAllah. Today, we're very pleased to invite Dr. Mohammed Al Barwani with us here on Oman Radio FM 90.4 to share about his successful journey and learnings throughout the journey. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Dr. Mohammed.
Wa alaikum salam, Tariq.
It is indeed a great pleasure to have you today. In fact, Dr. Mohammed, I remember back in the 90s when I met up with yourself to learn about all the things that you have done. Since then, when I was very young, I have never stopped learning all the things you do. I have never stopped looking at all the things that you do. And mashallah, you are a role model to everyone in Oman. May Allah bless you at all times.
Tariq, you're a role model in your own right. I should have learned from you.
Allah khalik. I'm very, very humble. I'm very, very humble,
No,
Doctor.
it's an honor to be here.
Alhamdulillah. Dr. Mohammed, you have created a conglomerate from just as simple as Omani Trading Company, mashallah. You are a global brand today and impacting the lives of thousands, mashallah. The question is, how did it all start? What made you leave your job in PDO to start a trading company? Please share with us.
I've learned a lot from PDO. I worked for PDO for 10 years and it was a great experience. But at the same time, I always wanted to have my own company. I admired businessmen and I wanted to do something. My father was a small-time businessman, so it has been in the family.
MashaAllah.
And after 10 years of working for PDO, I realized that it's better that I leave now or I'll get too old with children and responsibilities. So I left in 1986, started a small construction company. And then over time it grew. And then I got out of construction and stayed more in the oil and gas side of the business.
MashaAllah.
But in the process, of course, I've made mistakes and I learned a lot.
MashaAllah, mashallah, mashallah. Dr. Mohammed, you're still young, by the way.
Thank you very much.
May Allah bless you at all times. What is the secret behind it?
It's, I don't know. It's just life.
Yeah, mashallah, mashallah. May Allah bless you at all times. Now, Dr. Mohammed, to start a company, one needs to have a knowledge, they need to have skills, and need to have an experience. Could you please tell us your own personal journey and challenging navigating through these three elements?
I think to start a business, the most important thing you need to have an interest in business. You need to have a drive and you need to have the ability. And you need to be prepared to put a lot of hours into your business. You need to be realistic, start small. Because a lot of times I come across people who have never been in business and they talk big. I mean, you can't start anything big. You should start small, grow it up over a period of time, and everything takes time to grow.
Okay.
And you should never give up, because when you start anything, sometimes you'll run into trouble or problems. And then some people give up and, you should be prepared to fight and keep it going. You should be able to understand markets, services or products. For instance, if you want to start a business in restaurants, you should have some sort of knowledge of cooking, of food. But don't go into a business you don't know anything about.
Okay.
And in my case, for instance, I started in the oil and gas because that's something that I had experience and I had knowledge of.
Inshallah.
And if you make mistakes, be ready to learn from your mistake and move on. And failure should never stop you. I've failed many times, but I'm still there.
MashaAllah.
And you should have basic knowledge of finance, accounting, and understand things like balance sheets and so on.
Okay. Now, if you have operations, mashallah, in over 20 countries, and you are employing over 5,000 people from 51 nationalities, mashallah. How do you manage such big operation like this and the people and the business that you have altogether, Dr. Mohammed?
I think I should go one step behind.
Okay.
When I started in business, I started obviously with very little money, very small company. I had few employees. I'm glad to say that some of those employees, 30 years later, I still have them.
Mashallah, mashallah.
As I made money, I reinvested in the business. I put back all the money that we made back into the business. This allowed us to expand. At the beginning, I didn't have much know-how, but as we went along, I gained a lot of experience. I had a good knowledge of the oil industry. At the time, I had 10 years of experience as a petroleum engineer when I left PDO. And I thank PDO for the training, and PDO was a good training ground. One thing about business which is very important, people don't realize, is credibility. Credibility is extremely important. You should be honest. People should be able to trust you. And even if you fail, you should be able to go back to people and tell them, look, I've promised to do this, but unfortunately I was not able to. And tell them the truth and don't give excuses.
No, mashallah, mashallah.
Now,
Yeah.
to build a business, you need to have you need to have good employees. You need to treat your employees well, respect them, be fair to them, be transparent. But at the same time, you need to build systems, management systems, policies. And most important of everything else, you should love your business and you should really take care of it like a baby. And you should follow up and keep up with the knowledge of what's going on.
So if you were to say that one of the most important elements would be love of your business.
Love your people.
And love your people as well.
Yes,
and I can
of
tell
course.
you one thing, Dr. Mohammed, mashallah, a number of people that I know who are from the MB, when I know they're part of the MB, they say, we love Dr. Mohammed, which that itself speaks very big. May Allah bless you at all times, inshallah.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and revert back to exciting discussion and learning from Dr. Mohammed Al Barwani.
Impact. New talents, experts, and professionals in different fields.
Different topics that contribute knowledge to society.
And what's going on here in the Sultan.
It's Impact, hosted by Tariq Al Barwani.
Tuesdays at 5 p.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m.
Every week on the Nation Station.
Welcome back to Impact, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tariq Al Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Safiya, with you here today live on Oman Radio FM 90.4. From a local Omani trading company to a conglomerate multinational corporation, the MB Holding Group of Companies. With operations in over 20 countries, employing 5,000 people from 51 nationalities under the global brand. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are learning how did this all happen? What does it take to create a winning and successful company? What can we learn from Dr. Mohammed Al Barwani, the founder, owner, and chairman of MB Holding? Dr. Mohammed, if you were to start all over again, what would you do differently and why?
Different times bring in different opportunities. At the time when I started business, the oil industry was an area where you could start and there were opportunities there. Today, I think it's quite competitive. If I was to start business today, I will start in the IT, software, products you can sell online. The real reason is once web-based kind of businesses, these are fast growing, they're global, You could be a company based in Oman and you would have something on your website, and somebody from anywhere in the world could see it and order it or buy from you. So I would start with online businesses, software, even media.
Okay.
And these businesses are global, and the market is large.
MashaAllah.
And one can grow fast.
MashaAllah. Thank you very much for the valuable advices, Dr. Mohammed. Now, with the impact of oil prices in the economy today, how has this impacted your business, and what is it your advice for other entrepreneurs?
The oil prices have impacted the whole economy. I mean, the Oman economy depends on the oil industry. And so not only my business is affected, but in general, business in Oman is affected. In June 2014, the price of oil was $110 a barrel.
Yep.
By January 2016, last year, it had collapsed to $27. Today, we're about $50 a barrel. And hopefully, the price of oil would grow slowly, but I don't see it coming back to $110.
Okay.
Now, this has squeezed our cash flow. To survive as a company, we had to reduce the number of employees, we had to cut costs, and it's still a struggle to survive. But at least at the $50 oil, we know that we can survive.
Inshallah, Doctor. Now, Dr. Mohammed, what is your advice, therefore, for other entrepreneurs?
Well, what I would probably advise entrepreneurs, I mean, the market, even when it gets bad or times get bad, you need to keep on going, you need to survive, and later on things would change. The market would not always be bad forever. But don't give up, learn from your mistakes, and have new strategies, analyze where you went wrong and why, and, keep on going. To give you a good example why all markets go in cycles. A good example would be the stock market. People buy shares, share prices increase, they make money, more people buy more shares, then the price shoots. Eventually, the price of shares is so high that it does not make sense and the market collapses. So this boom and bust cycles of markets is common.
Okay. You have majored in petroleum engineering and have been an engineer with PDO. However, your business expands to other industries as well. What made you expand into other areas, and how do you pick and assess your businesses, Dr. Mohammed?
As we grew, we started seeing other opportunities. For instance, we started as an oilfield services. Then we saw opportunities to go into exploration and production. And then we also saw opportunities in mining. I mean, in-house we have a number of geologists, so we expanded into mining. But the key issue in all of this is you should not put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay.
And so we wanted to diversify our business to reduce dependence on one sector. How did we pick the businesses we wanted to go into? A lot of times there's opportunities. You would see the opportunity, you would study the opportunity, what are the risks involved, what sort of capital you need, what sort of expertise you need. And if we then feel it's a worthwhile risk, we would go into it. For instance, recently we started into a hotel business in Oman, partly because we felt there was a demand for hotels in Oman. Tourism is growing in Oman, and that's why we invested in hotels.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break and revert back with Dr. Mohammed Al Barwani to learn about the great success that has been over the years.
Impact. New talents, experts, and professionals in different fields.
Different topics that contribute knowledge to society.
And what's going on here in the Sultan.
It's Impact, hosted by Dr Al Barwani.
Tuesdays at 5 p.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m.
Every week, on the Nation Station.
Welcome back to Impact, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dr Mohammed Al Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Safia, with you here today live on Oman Radio FM 90.4. From a local Omani trading company to a conglomerate multinational corporation, the MB Holding Group of Companies. With operation in over 20 countries, employing over 5,000 people from 51 nationalities under the global brand. Our guest today is Dr. Mohammed Al Barwani, the founder and owner and chairman of MB Holding. Dr. Mohammed, when I've told a number of people that today is Dr. Mohammed, my guest today in the program, I can tell you one thing. MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I have received a lot of valuable feedback. I have received a lot of questions. I received a lot of compliments. People looking forward to learn from you and the great successes that you've done. One of the common questions that I have received, Dr. Mohammed, was, could you kindly share the advice and kind skills you recommend every entrepreneur should have, possess, and build in order to become successful? What would that be, Dr. Mohammed?
Most important, an entrepreneur should have drive, should be hardworking. And an entrepreneur cannot be lazy. You should have a dream, but also the dream should be realistic. I mean, you should start small and build a business, but don't dream of something that cannot be done. And a lot of people I know, they talk about business. I have friends who talk about business all the time, that they will start, they will do something, but they never get started. They only talk about it. I think at some point in time, you should stop talking and get it done and get started, get moving. Also, business is risky, but you should take calculated risk. And, and if the risk is something you can do, you can take, go ahead. But you should have also basic knowledge of accounting. And if you don't, teach yourself accounting. I graduated as an engineer. I knew nothing about banking or finance, but I read books about it. I teach myself. I was at one time I had a lot of trucks. I knew nothing about trucking, but I read everything I could find on trucking. And, you need to build a knowledge of what you are going into. And you need to study the market, analyze the risk, the opportunities involved, and believe in God and go into it.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed. Now, Dr. Mohammed, you are a loving husband and a father of 5 children. Apart from running a conglomerate business, can you please tell us how do you run the businesses?
I involve my family in my business. Okay. I know a lot of businessmen who have businesses, but if you ask their families, they don't know anything about their business. In my case, my wife and myself have worked together for many years. She's a good manager, an excellent advisor. So a lot of times if I have problems, I ask her for advice.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
We have involved all our 5 children in the business from a very early age. They would come into the office during their school vacations and do simple things, photocopying, working in the accounts department. And I even, when they got older, I put them on drilling rigs, put them in the field. We are lucky. All our children are interested in the business. I have friends who are businessmen and their children are not interested, which is a pity. You have to teach your children values. You have to teach them to respect others, to be transparent, to be honest, and to be fair, and to be able to listen to others and learn from others. Values and principles are very important in a family business. And at the same time, you should be humble. Things can go wrong. You can learn from others. You don't know who is going to help you, but be humbled. To me, my family comes first. And I've always believed in the family being part of my business. That's about it.
MashaAllah. One thing I'm going to say, Dr. Mohammed, that I know of personally, of many people that I see and meet, and MashaAllah, when it comes to you, Dr. Mohammed, what I really appreciate is that you're very, very humble, MashaAllah. You can find people who have achieved a very, very little success, and you see them going overboard. But you, mashallah, with the great success that you have done, you're very, very humble, you're very open to support people, and mashallah, may Allah always open doors of khair for you, inshallah.
Thank you very much. You never know who can help you in business. And sometimes a simple person can really help you. And so you should respect people and be kind to people, because you don't know when you'd need them.
I totally agree. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed. We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and revert to interesting discussion and learning from Dr. Mohammed Al Barwani.
Ritualistic, cleansing my soul of addiction for now, 'cause I'm falling apart. Yep, tension between us just like picket fences. You got issues that I won't mention for now, 'cause we're falling apart. Passionate from miles away, passive with the things you say, passing up on my old ways. I can't blame you, no. Passionate from miles away, passive with the things you say, passing up on my old ways. I can't blame you, no.
Impact. New talents, experts, and professionals in different fields.
Different topics that contribute knowledge to society.
And what's going on here in the Sultan.
It's Impact.
Welcome back to Impact, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dr Mohammed Al Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Safia, with you here today live on Oman Radio FM 90.4. From a local Omani trading company to a conglomerate multinational corporation, the MB Holding Group of Companies. With great and fantastic operations in over 20 countries, employing over 5,000 people from 51 nationalities under the global brand. How did this all happen? What does it take to create a winning and successful company? What can we learn is our session today. My honorable and esteemed guest is Dr. Mohammed Al Barwani, the founder, the owner, and the chairman of MB Holding. Dr. Mohammed, before the music break, we talked about you as a loving husband, mashallah, and the father of 5 children. Now, one of the things that I would really like to know is what happens with sometime, you got some families and some businesses where you have a number of children who are into it, and sometimes rivalries happen between the children. How do you go about that, Dr. Mohammed?
There's a saying that says wealth can be a blessing, but it can also be a curse. And that's very much to families. Families can break up because fighting between brothers and sisters and so on. And this is very common if you look at family businesses in the Gulf, you would find that the father started a company, then the children inherited, then the brothers fight, and in the end they don't talk to one another. So instead of the family business uniting the family, it actually ends up splitting the family. This is something me and my wife were very worried about when our business grew up and the children became older. Now 3 of them are managing different companies within the family.
Mashallah.
So what we did is that we brought in an advisor and we wrote family protocols. And this is like a shareholding agreement with all the children signing.
Okay.
Now it has issues like who can be a member of the family, going into the next generation, say grandchildren and so on. How do you get a job within the family? What experience, and in order to avoid future problems. Now, in our case, we have these protocols where all the children signed, and hopefully is to avoid conflicts in future. But at the same time, we have how conflicts can be resolved, and so on.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Very wise learning, ladies and gentlemen, from Dr. Mohammed Al Barwani, the chairman, the owner, and the founder of MB Holding, who has 5 children, MashaAllah, and a wife, of course, and they're operating the business, which is successful and a global brand, MashaAllah. Dr. Mohammed, mashallah, you have a lot of businesses and you have a lot of people and senior people that are reporting to you. You have responsibility at home, you have responsibility of in the business and for the society, mashallah. The question that I have for you today is, how do you manage your lifestyle? It's very, very busy. A lot of things that are happening. As someone is small like me, I've got too many things going on and a lot of people out there as well. But someone like you, Dr. Mohammed, how are you managing lifestyle?
Actually, in a matured business, it's not so difficult because you have a lot of managers, you have good people to rely on, you have people who've worked with you for many years, so you depend on your key managers. And in a company with 5,000 employees, as we do, there's many managers, and obviously without them we can't run a business. And you've got systems, you've got rules, you've got policies. So those help you to manage. On a personal level, I like to travel for both business and pleasure. I always travel with my family.
MashaAllah.
And even when I go on business, I always mix pleasure and business. And I take my wife, I take my children. And nowadays I even take my grandchildren with me.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. And what about your boats businesses and so on?
One of my businesses is building super yachts. I actually
Mashallah.
acquired a company in the Netherlands, which is one of the largest companies in this area. And I've had a lot of pleasure with this company, partly because we build large boats. We build for some of the biggest businessmen in the world. I've met some of the very interesting and leading businessmen from countries like Russia, United States, India, China, and I've traveled to go and meet with these people, and they're always people who can afford a $200 or $300 million boat. They're always leaders in their businesses, and there may be tough businessmen, there may be hard people, but when they come to their yachts, they're always soft. They they always want their toys, and we never have problems in payments or problems with such people.
MashaAllah. Tell me one thing, Dr. Mohammed. With operations in over 20 countries, employing over 5,000 people and from 51 nationalities, and these all great companies that you have under your wing, if there is one of them that is your baby or something that you enjoy to look after, obviously, which one would it be and why?
Actually, the most important business we have is oil and gas, exploration for oil and gas. But oil and gas, I've given to Sama, my son, to run.
Okay.
Then we have a business in mining, which is an exciting side of our business, and that's a gentleman by the name of Tariq, just like yourself. He runs that.
MashaAllah.
And we have business in hotels and resorts, which is quite interesting, and it's run by my daughter, Safana.
MashaAllah.
And then an important side of our family business is actually philanthropy, charity, helping others. That's being taken care by a daughter of mine called Iman and my wife.
MashaAllah.
And that's one area that I actually enjoy, is to see that we are giving something back to society and that we are contributing to society. But if you ask me what particular business I enjoy the most, I enjoy quite a lot building yachts actually. You start looking at a drawing and then it takes 3 or 4 years to build a super yacht, and 3 or 4 years later it's produced. Magazines around the world writes about it.
MashaAllah.
And it's something that you enjoy looking at from the day you start as drawings to the day you deliver the boat, and opening magazines and seeing your boat in there.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Dr. Mohammed, as I said at the beginning of the program today, is that when I met you all back in the 90s, I remember very, very young during the time when the IT was boom. I've been following a lot on the thing that you do. But one thing that I'm missing is what is next. Why? Is because I say, what is next Dr. Mohammed is doing? I would like to know what is next, because there's a lot of learning and encouragement, not only for me, but for many people. I would like to know today, so since you're already here, what is next for Dr. Mohammed?
Actually, one thing I should have done earlier, I'd got into the IT business when it was starting. Unfortunately, I, for one reason or another, didn't go into IT. And I've always wanted to do something in the software IT, because I think this is an area that is going to grow. We have started, we actually acquired a company in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is going to be a big thing in future.
Indeed.
It is already now big, but it's growing. So we acquired a company in the UK, which is in cybersecurity, and we are starting the same business here in Oman. If you look at a number of banks here in Oman who are actually hit or by crooks, and that's the kind of thing we want to avoid, is to get into cybersecurity.
Okay.
But what is there for me personally, I'm more now thinking of the younger people in my family to take over. So I'm thinking of retiring, let the younger people in the business, in the family, take over the business. They have more energy. And I want to be an advisor, a teacher, a tutor, become a mentor, and pass my experience and whatever I've learned to the next generation.
May Allah bless you at all times, Dr. Mohammed. Dr. Mohammed, you are a role model to many, many people. In fact, for me, when it comes to things like technology, it's someone like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, the people in this arena, even the Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg lately. And when it comes to, of course, religion, it is Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, someone that I have a very, very high regards and learning as well. When it comes to business, it is Dr. Mohammed Al Barwani. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. And why am I saying that? You've got a lot of people who have made a lot of great success all over the world, but then these people are international. But when I look at local here, I'm looking at an example of someone who has created a great success and went out to be like the global brands as well. So that to me, am I saying, like all the other people in Oman, I'm saying that if we have an Omani who has done great success, which is equally to the successes that has been done outside, then that's a great example. But the question that I have, Dr. Mohammed, who is your role model?
There are many role models. I mean, you can start with Sultan Qaboos, for instance. He's a great role model. He's a leader who has not interfered in any other country's businesses. And he's a leader who's built peace, brought together negotiations and between Iran and the United States. He's a peaceful man, and I think he's the greatest role model that Oman can have, to have a leader like that.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
So my respect
His Majesty.
and His Majesty
Sultan Qaboos.
Sultan Qaboos.
Alhamdulillah. Dr. Mohammed, thank you very, very much for joining us today. on Oman Radio FM 90.4 to share about your exciting and inspiring journey that everyone in Oman respect and is looking forward to also learn and replicate the successes that has been done. I would like to take this opportunity to wish you and your family the very best and success in everything, inshallah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our program for this week. I hope you all had an intriguing time with us. Let us catch up again next week on Tuesday, same time at 5 p.m. and also on Sunday at 9 a.m. I'm Dr Al Barwani along with our studio engineer DJ Safiya, wishing you all a happy and a pleasant week. Ma'as salama.